This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map, the Harvest, for a 2v2. Very excited to have some Kane's Wrath action back on stream. Let's kick it off on the left side, playing the Reaper 17. This is Manos. The on Team Blue, playing the Marked of Kane. It's Cyberphobic. He's afraid of all things technological, and he's playing a video game, playing the Traveler, playing the Reaper on the right side. This is Senna, and his teammate, the one, the only, the world champion, WCG 2006 winner. This is Apollo, playing red, playing GDI. I'm going to take a wild stab at the dark and say that Apollo, spelled slightly strangely, is not indeed the one and only, the famous, the amazing WCG champion from many, many years ago. D Apollo, Dignitas Apollo. I'm going to guess that's not him. I'm going to assume he didn't take some time off of his ESL job. Does he still work for ESL? And to come back and play a game of Kane's Wrath 2v2 with Senna. But maybe he did. Maybe it's truly an amazing time to be alive. Tip Spike going to be getting targeted down. These are Reaper descents, not Traveler, so no speed boost for either one of these teams. And we do have a Marked of Kane versus a GDI. So we have two very strong factions. This is a little bit of an older game, so this is not R21, where I think Marked of Kane has now fallen back out of favor. I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of R21 games, but that's the sense I kind of get. Rifleman does get ejected. Descents do get cleaned up. Nicely handled there by Apollo. Whoever Apollo is, they've got that control down well enough. They're paying attention enough that they didn't lose the APC. Lesser players will lose that APC. They won't be paying attention, and they'll get a little shutdown there. The Descents will gang up and get the kill. EMP control center in the middle of the map. Bunkers down in the south, double green field in the south, and then a contested blue field, which is a little bit strange. There's only one small, slow blue field in the south for a 4-player game, but I don't know that it really matters. I think it'll be fine. There's plenty of Tiberium on this map. With your 2 fields, you then get to fight over a relatively large contested 3rd field. It's not an insane amount of Tiberium, but it's definitely a solid enough amount of Tiberium to get everyone going and to maybe decide some things. APC's all healed up. Gonna start taking down those Descents. Manos gonna be a little bit upset that he's losing Descents for basically nothing. Not a lot of value for those Descents, but his 3rd ref got up pretty quickly. Cyber moved to the MCV down to the south. Oh, by the way, we do also have mutant hovels. 1 per side. Very easy to capture. Very centrally located. And yet I just don't think we will see them captured. Ops Center is up. And this is Ops Center before 3rd Refinery? Okay. No, the 3rd Refinery is right there. It's just slightly further south. Normally I would expect it on the north side of the field. But it is a potential fast tech 1-click situation. Maybe this is a Marked of Kane player who wants to go for those tech options. It is going to be double war factory, so 3 refinery into the ops, into the double war factory. Not too crazy. Normally the double war factory is a little bit sooner. Does mean we have the potential of dozer blades a bit faster than you normally would, but for a bike buggy, still hasn't switched into scorpions. For a bike buggy player, obviously dozer blades don't do a lot of good, so I do expect Cyber to, at some point, switch it up, go into those Scorps. Orca Strike does tag one of the Harvesters, removes the shields. Dev tanks, bike, buggy, gonna get tagged by the Hammerheads. Hammerhead's gonna get shut down. That is gonna be bike, buggy, getting a combo with a couple of shard launchers to kill off all 3 of the Hammerheads going down. Dev tanks charged up. They get the kill on the APC. It was with AP ammo, and that is not gonna be good for Apollo. Mine drop does get spotted, will get denied there. does kind of get cleaned up a little bit there. Those APCs deploying mines, not going to be helping out too much. One harvester down. Currently a good trade. This is four hammerheads and one harvester for, I think, 1 or 2 bikes. That is a phenomenal trade, kicking it off for Team Blue in this fight. Easy target is the growth stimulator, very low health, and they do cost some money to build. Lightning Spike getting deployed. Senna trying to add a little bit of extra defense to this fight, hoping to push Sybert and Manos back. Not that there's much Sybert in this fight anymore. That bike buggy has gotten out of town, and they are not interested in sticking around because there is a second wave of the attack potentially starting there in the south. A couple of Predator tanks low on health, but with this double defense, it should be a relatively easy pushback once the forces are gathered up. Predator tanks low on health, and with 3 charged up dev tanks, you don't want to feed those Predator tanks one at a time into those enemy devs. Cyber going for the middle of the map. So instead of pushing in further and trying to get more damage against a double defense, it seems like Cyber wants to use this opportunity to set up a bit of a foothold in the middle of the map. Foundry comes up from Manos as well, so second build queue, and Senna says, I don't need a refinery, I just need mass harvesters into the middle. So he's going to be going for that long, slow leech from the middle. A couple of Scorps in the south. Distance might clean them both up. This guy might escape with like 1 HP as he walks his way towards the natural expansion. And the scout will happen with the decoy harvester. Decoys do get stealth, so that will be a pretty nice scout for Cyber. Good use of the decoy army support power. Good way to get some value for that. And goodness, Senna has macroed up quite a powerful army with combination of upgrades. The only ones he's missing are the force fields for the tripods, but a couple of these tripods have some charged up beams. It's blue shards as well, which means this is a low health army, but very high damage output. Double obelisk is here, low power mode for just a moment. Couple of avatars pushing forward for Cyberphobic, and it's going to be a collapse on from the north side by Manos. Not very much up there, no upgrades as well, so in every sense, Senna outclasses his Traveler, his Reaper opponent on the other side of the map. However, it does slow this attack down, and with a Rage Gen on the way, the Redeemer 80% done, this army could be getting quite a bit weaker, and the longer a fight can happen over this field, the better the defense will be for Cyber and Manos, or at least they will have more of an opportunity to build that defense. One tripod, couple of Predators going to get locked down by that stasis shield. A lot of tripods are here on the side of Senna, but with having that stasis locked down, this has certainly bought enough time for the Redeemer to get out on the field, which means the Redeemer is going to start challenging these tripods directly, and it won't be just tripod v tripod kind of a fight. Senna's reinforcements not coming through super strong. Stasis does evaporate there, but a fresh obelisk gets deployed down, and Manos deploys a lightning spike as well to absorb a couple of shots. Repair drones onto the front lines. Can Senna keep up the attack? Engineers make their way into the tripods, and the winner could simply be the player who's able to recover more husks than their opponent. And in this case, I think that might work out for Senna. Stasis locks down that Redeemer, doesn't deny the build, but will deny the Redeemer coming into the fight. And this extended fight is working out well for Senna if he can target down that Redeemer. EMP doesn't land. Couple of more hammerheads moving in. All of those tripods have already been given their attack commands, though, so the Rage Gen doesn't do much of anything. That Redeemer gets deleted, and that was a lot of delaying to get the Redeemer out, only for the Redeemer to fall without having a huge effect. But that's 4 obelisks and a storm column on the front line. EMPs are massive, cutting down Senna's numbers, and it looks like the Descents rushing forward might also be able to get a number of the husks and deny any potential captures back from Senna. The front line falls apart. That Redeemer got targeted so fast, but behind it was a couple of avatars and way too many obelisks. The Descents moving in as well, one of them going heroic as he tries desperately to get the kill on that tripod. And now Manos has rebuilt his tripod numbers only to 4, but he's charged up, he's ready to go. And for the first time, Manos actually has the superior tripod numbers against his opponent, but he doesn't have a way to easily answer back those Descents. Lightning Spike gets deployed, deletes a couple of those descents on the south side of the field. So many husks are here, but they actually haven't been cleaned up by either side just yet. A couple of engineers trying to grab those husks. Looks like an Orca Strike is being called in. Apollo looking for the kill on those husks, and I think he will find it. But at the same time, Senna has rebuilt a decent number of tripods. Husks will get cleaned up. Engineer actually gets sniped, and the husks survive. That could not have been a better timed strike from those orcas. And at the same time, there was no way for Apollo to actually know that that was going to happen. Tripods moving forward, Senna looking for the kill. Apollo and Senna desperately trying to hold this front line. The advantage has shifted back and forth, but the static D advantage has always been on the side of Cyber and Manos. They've been able to hold with those obelisks. Will they be able to continue to hold in the north with the obelisks? Because the south is looking strong for Team Blue, but Team Red is hoping that the north will have better fortunes. 2 obelisks here and a storm column plus those tripods. It makes it a difficult place to attack for anyone. And that bike finally going down the Scorpion as well, as the front line is not the only battlefield for these players. MCV moving forward. Manos dropping the beacon. MCV gets targeted, but it's not fast enough. Those hammerheads do not have enough firepower. Senna backs out, and Apollo is left alone on the front line. The collapse has happened. There's so much value in terms of tripod husks out on the field. If either team would have been able to capture a significant number of those husks, it would have been a game changer. Potential EMP, not even needed from the Awakened because of the EMP from that tripod. Eventually, the Sonic Emitter breaks it down, but this is going to be an incredible hold for Apollo. If he manages to break this front line and win the game, I mean, Apollo is just slowly crumbling. Spectre Artillery going for the shots, going for these 2 tripods, which are so low on health. Spectre? Nope, Juggernaut's landing. All right, Apollo has been defeated. The longer the game went on, I was like, does Apollo mount some kind of insane comeback? And that's why the replay was sent. But no, kind of a straightforward 2v2. Not much to write home about there, but a nice extended fist fight in the middle of the map, partially decided by those static defenses. Welcome to Forgotten Forest. Oh, is this a rematch? This might be a rematch. We'll see if it goes differently or if it has the same outcome. Playing Blackhand on the left side of Forgotten Forest, playing blue. This is Cyberphobic. Playing the GDI, playing Cyan. This is Manos. Meanwhile, on the right side, playing the Pink Traveler, it's Senna. That's actually the red screen, tan too hard. Playing the Pink Traveler, this is Senna. Tan too hard. Which, again, kind of like Apollo, tan too hard, or a very similar name to that, was a player from years ago. I'm trying to remember, it was like... Was it Tan Too Hard or was it Tan Too Harder? I don't actually remember. So anyways, I feel like this is the same matchup, and whoever this is just stealing old school player names and reusing them for themselves. Maybe not. I don't know. At any rate, we've got ourselves another 2v2. We've got maybe a little bit more cash on this map, depending on how it goes. Sometimes one team takes this field, and then the other team takes that field, so they end up harvesting more than on a map like the Harvest. And then you got this one small, slow blue field in the south. No, you are not too late, Karma Wolf. It is only the second game of the stream. And we'll do at least 3, so we might do 4, but we'll do at least 3. So in that sense, you're still plenty early. Tan Too Hard and Senna, a double scrin team. So the combination of the Stasis Shield being available and also Cultists could be very powerful. Harvester gets killed! Wow. Sybert with the harvester kill right out of the gate. That is very fortunate. Tan too hard, not going to be feeling very good about that. And being down one harvester in a 2v2, it's not necessarily the end of the world, but that's like a 2-minute 30 harvester kill with only a couple of bikes. Ordinarily, that doesn't happen. That harvester was potentially savable. Overall, things are actually looking very similar to that previous game, which I guess if I don't end up uploading that previous game, then that won't make any sense to anyone if this one ends up getting saved. So, Secret Tanks moving in. Tan too hard, looking for some counter damage. Not necessarily going to find very much, especially when you consider the fact that I think he's going to lose both of these Secret Tanks. Yep, both Secret Tanks go down, and that is a bit unfortunate. Yeah, Beacon. Beacon where you're going to place a refinery, I guess. Go for the blue Tiberium. Senna hoping that he can claim this blue Tib. Nice and easy. Manos, on the other hand, he's got a couple of pit bulls rocking around the map, looking for some open harvesters that aren't being protected by Secret Tank Gunwalker. Very calm, normal 2v2 kind of openings. Lots of economy focus from both teams. Pit bulls move in. They do spot the nerve center timing, but it's nothing unusual, so really not all that much to note. Pit bulls heading to the north. We did see a radar jamming missile come in, which I'm not sure why exactly what Cyber was hoping to hide. But, you know, do whatever you want. I guess it does reveal that the operations center has been built, so you know that. Dozer Blades on the way as well. Once again, playing Blackhand, so no laser capacitors for those Scorps. And that harvester so close to death. Almost 2 harvesters killed off in the first couple of minutes of the game, but it won't actually be meant to be. Senna stealing the blue Tiberium. He's going to be feeling good about that. If he can get himself a couple of loads of blue Tiberium, that'll be nice. Although this Black Hand harvester does not have stealth, so it's going to take a lot of damage. Secret Tanks might commit heavy to get the kill. No, they decide not to. They would have traded a number of, well, they're going to trade a number of Seekers and Gunwalkers regardless. But they would have traded more Seekers and Gunwalkers. Actually, only like 2 Seekers and 1 Gunwalker. Harvester does survive. Very little blue Tiberium was actually claimed by the blue team in this case. And more Harvesters getting sniped. It looks like at least 1 and then 3 other spring units, possibly just Seeker Tanks, also got sniped. More Seeker Tanks getting eliminated. Storm Column is here. Of course, Phase is fantastic. Not only because it saves the Harvesters, but it allows the Harvesters to keep harvesting while also being invincible. Because harvesting is not an attack, so you can still do it when you have Phase. How did that Harvester actually go down? Storm Rider crosses the map and actually gets a Harvester kill on the left side. Team right side has the opportunity to go for like a 16 Storm Rider bomb. Doesn't go for it, just 1 scouting Storm Rider, which you will get pretty good vision of the entire left side of the map. He didn't walk into a bunch of APCs or anything like that. He's also going to get some free damage against these Harvesters. Not necessarily anything to... Whoa, those guns on that Juggernaut were freaking out. Not necessarily anything to write home about, but this Flame Tank might be something of note. War Factory is going to take a lot of damage, but Black Hand has not upgraded Purifying Flame, which means the War Factory does survive with about half HP. APC Pred in the middle of the map. MCV here as well, but in the north, it's going to be Team Red that goes for the expansion. So Team Blue in the middle of the map, Team Red in the north. Team Red has stolen slightly more of that Tiberium, and it's going to be a wormhole. MCV is unprotected. MCV? Pack up. Area mind control. He gets the Harvester. What's the plan here? Buzzers get called in to try and... Okay, there. Now he finally gets the MCV. Is he going to walk it to the other side of the map? No! He gets sniped. The Cabals don't get eliminated. Oh no, and Purified Flame finishes. The tier 3 goes down, and this flamer is having a good day. Team Blue is catching on fire. They're burning red and igniting in red themselves. Everything's going down to the heroic Purifying Flame. Black Hand Flame Tank. Everything melts in a second's notice. Even the MCV could take massive damage, but the EMP locks it down. And that flame tank was worth more than its weight in gold. Purifying Flame purifiers onto the front line, and that is a lot of damage. That's a lot of flame that can move out. Almost some pretty good counter damage, but MCV in the middle of the map, followed by a Marv. So this is going to be a really tough fight for Team Red. 2 games in a row. Purifying Flame on those purifiers just makes them so scary at clearing bases. Flame tanks that can stay alive longer. Packs are out. I think those packs were on order before all of the tech and production got melted by that flame tank. And apparently all of the refineries in the vicinity have been eliminated because that is a parking lot out front of that refinery. Another radar jamming missile fires off, so we're going to keep our eyes peeled for another flame tank. That's what we're expecting to see, but I guess we won't see it. Flame tank? Why was that radar jamming missile? What are you firing off these radar jamming missiles for? Is it literally the distraction tactic of, like, they'll think that something is happening, and so I'm going to fire it off when nothing is happening, but then nothing happens, so it really, you're not doing very much. Packs getting targeted down. Senna and Tan too hard. They're going to try and break through on the front line. Overlord's Wrath going to be coming in. Big smash on top of those purifiers, but can they actually close the distance? I think this is enough scrim to knock them down. Cultists here could turn some of the forces against the Nod player, but in the south they have no way to stop that Marv MCV Juggernaut combo, which is going to be tearing apart the natural expansion of Team Red. So they need to make something happen right here, right now. Recovering the husks is almost a do or die situation. Pack is here, unloading a decent amount. Hammerheads showing up. They may be late to the party, but they're here to add that fire support for Team Blue. APC's here as well, but they're just getting chewed up. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, from the Pack on the way in, dealing damage to those APCs, but now it's going to be mass shredder turrets, quad turrets as well, as Team Blue tears apart Team Red and keeps the front line moving forward in the south. The MCV under huge threat, and the slow field is nice, but it's not going to save that MCV, or will it? With the Packs targeting down that Marv, the slow field causing a slow escape. This Purifying Flame tank is once again on the hunt. Double vet, looking for the triple, looking for the heroic status. Oh, doesn't get it. Gets it off of the buzzers. The buzzers, just enough value to tip it over. Marv may get eliminated, but unless you've got an amazing play in the north to capitalize on the momentum, the Marv kill isn't going to mean much of anything for the total game state. Tier 3 once again getting targeted down just by regular old hammerheads. Tier 3 gets sniped. Another Tier 3 gets canceled over here. Juggernaut's moving forward in the north. Purifiers as well. And I think the heroic flame tank did get eliminated, but it kind of doesn't matter. Tan Too Hard has been defeated. Senna doesn't have much left, and there's the GG, as Senna has been defeated as well. 2 2v2s. That's 2 2v2s. There you go. I hope you enjoyed the 2 2v2s. Welcome to downtown Dustbowl. Kicking it off in the north, playing the purple. This is VortexMaddness. Ooh, this is the extra zoom version of the map. Playing the purple, playing Nod. Meanwhile, in the south side, playing that yellow, playing that screen. It's Senna. You ever wanted to know what the inside of a drone ship looked like? There you go. Now you know. do we got? There we go. There. Now they, oh. No, that's correct. Okay. All right. I flipped the scoreboard and then I thought I double flipped it. And nope, we're good now. Purple's on top. Yellow's on bottom. Big thanks to Drive for the design of the scoreboard. And big thanks to Double Evil for the actual implementation of the scoreboard. A couple of descents moving out. Scrin v Nod. Definitely a matchup where there are some power points for each one. Descents could be a power point for the Scrin player. By the way, this is the no poker variant, so the tib spikes have been moved into the corners. That's what the no poker means. And low power on the War Factory is never fun, but it's not the end of the world for the Nod player, especially if you are able to sneak out one additional buggy while the descents are at bay. Two sets of descents can be difficult. They can jump on a harvester, but the juking is going to be good enough. Vortex is paying attention. And okay, a little bit of tagging on the MCV. The power plant makes a lot more sense. And the descents are going to get targeted down, but it's going to be low power mode for the Nod, so it's going to be more power juggling. No just sells off the Shredder turret, goes with the triple buggy, goes with the militants, and I think that works out fine for the Nod player. Third harvester super delayed, second refinery delayed as well, but the descents have been killed off, so... Or I guess the third harvester is there, but the second refinery and that harvester are super delayed. So this could be fine. Maybe it is a little bit of an advantage for the Scrin player. Much faster eco. 3.2k per minute for Senna versus the 2k per minute of Vortex. Senna does have a huge bank though, 10k. No, that's 1k. He's got 11k total resources gathered. That's what I was looking at. The wrong number, but 1k in the bank. And I was thinking for a moment that he was trying to save up for like Stacy Shield and stuff. And I was like, wow, that is a lot of money this early on to have not spent any of it. Second refinery is out. Fourth harvester as well for our Nod player. So Vortex has stabilized. Senna did not go for the natural expansion. Somewhat curiously, Senna is going for not the most distant Tiberium field that he could, but one of the most distant Tiberium fields that he could be going for. I mean, the natural expansion is such a short walk on this map, especially with the fixed terrain. Oh, it's going to be double War Factory. Okay. So I think this MCV was spotted by Vortex, and Vortex is very much worried. Is this Ops Center as well? Yeah, Operations Center, double War Factory off of 5 harvesters before MCV move. So this is a very conservative, very defensive setup here from Vortex. Wouldn't even be surprised if we see that MCV like deploy a little bit early to queue up a barracks or something. We'll see how worried he is about these devs, about the corruptors, and about this MCV, because that's a portal here as well. Senna is gonna need something else to go along with this push, because if it lasts very long, he's gonna be out of cash at home. And yes, you can long distance harvest on this map. It's not that far, but it does definitely slow down your economy. So we'll see how far Senna can go with his 3k in the bank and however much Tiberium he currently has out on the map. Okay, gets 2 portals and then sells one of them off immediately. So Senna may be having second thoughts. It's to get the stasis chamber out, and here's the shield. That's the big power play that Senna was looking for. I don't know that you need to waste your time attacking those turrets. They are locked down for the current moment. A couple of Scorps are locked down as well. And it's not a disaster yet for the Nod player, but it's right on the edge of disaster. Dev tanks are actually targeting down the laser, the Shredder turret hub, which is not that much value. And now the stasis is gone. The Scorpions do get eliminated, and the assault of the Harvesters can begin. Mine drop is good, cleans up a Dev Tank, gets some healthy damage on a second Dev Tank as well. Scorpion's going to be collapsing in from the north, and it's going to be a Corruptor trying to save that Dev, but he just won't have the power. Meanwhile, the Corruptor goes down, and the Scorpions will stand strong. The Shredder's trying to deal with those descents. If the units were in slightly different positions, maybe that's a big win for Senna, but for now, it's a hold for the Nod player. Money is running out for both players. It's something that they have to worry about. Senna does not have a refinery queued up on the back end. Senna can maybe sell off that refinery. This might be kind of a glitched Tib crystal where it can't be harvested while the refinery is there. But yeah, if Senna had a refinery on this field, then maybe he could have sold this refinery and transferred harvesters over. But this is just a very awkward no expand build, essentially, from both players. Hand of Nod is here, so we always have the potential of some laser turret drops if Vortex wants to. But for now, Vortex is just picking off this army, and Senna is not... Ooh, backwards refinery, which in this case might actually be better because it keeps the harvester safe for longer. But I feel like a forwards refinery and a power down would have been the better move, the better long-term move. But anyways, we got a backwards refinery regardless. Is Senna just going to regularly expand? Where's Senna's MCV? Was it a cell? No, there's the drone ship. Okay. No MCV cell just yet. I mean, he doesn't even have gravity stabilizer, so he couldn't rebuild. We do have Ichor Seed getting called in on that field, but a lot of the harvesters are already either manually sent over here, so they're just kind of ignoring the Ichor Seed, which is a bit annoying for Senna, calling in that support power, and then not actually getting the value from it, but I assume he's going to manually control these harvesters to go to this field. Okay, one harvester for that Ichor Seed. A bit unfortunate for Senna that that's how things worked out, but the manual control wasn't coming through because he was worried about his army somewhere else on the map. So for now, Vortex is looking just fine. The economy has recovered. It's still more resources gathered overall for Senna, and catching these Scorps in the middle of the map is a nice win for the Scrin player. But the economy on the back end is much better in these sneaky bikes. That's why the Scorps got caught in the middle of the map, because the spend of money was actually on these bikes, going for the cross map, getting that counterattack. It's going to be a couple of Seeker tanks here to defend, and a couple of these bikes are actually decoys, which explains why there were so many of them. Seeker's going to be pushing back those harvesters, and the bikes will not be able to do the massive damage to Senna that we were expecting because of that decoy status on many of them. Black Hand Squad comes forward, had to sell off the operations center, and there goes the lightning spike. So Black Hand Squads are very good for cleaning up those lightning spikes. Still double War Factory production, but with 2 refineries here on the natural expansion, and Senna's economy should be tanking, but he's actually doing kind of okay. He's essentially matching the economy. Bike's getting cleaned up. No more harvester kills. Okay, Seeker tank should get the last shot. No, the bike escapes with like a little bit of health left over. Repair drones were called in, and yeah, so the Nod player stabilizing, but both players taking some losses, getting some wins. If all of those bikes had been real, I think that would have been it for Senna's harvesters. I think all of the harvesters would have been gutted, but Senna still has 5 harvesters out on the field. Man, that Ichor Seed doing a lot to pull Senna back into this game. That Ichor Seed and the harvesters surviving, keeping Senna with a solid foot under him in this game. Couple of Seeker tanks going to be getting targeted. Scorps can clean up at least 2 of these Seekers. Seekers are just holding position, so a bit unfortunate. 1 bike, on the other hand, going for the harass. Senna deploys a 3rd refinery, so 3 refineries is better than 2 when you are long distance harvesting, because this 3rd one is actually pointed towards that refinery, but or towards that field. Probably worth selling this refinery off and just keeping these 2. Drone ship slowly inchworming his way to the expansion. Another Ichor Seed called in, so I guess, yeah, keeping this refinery here is fine. MCV going to keep moving its way towards that 3rd base, but the natural is like only half gone. Anyways, VortexMaddness has finally overtaken Senna in total resources gathered. So that's nice for VortexMaddness. And VortexMaddness for the last minute or two has actually been dwarfing Senna's income. Now that is going to even out a little bit with this Ichor seed. That is, you know, like having a quarter of a field right next to your refineries, which is fantastic for Senna. A lot of Scorpions, but they don't shoot up. The one scouting Storm Rider wishes he had 7 Storm Rider buddies, because that would be a massive win for Senna. If he had 7, 8, or 8 Storm Riders descending upon these Scorpion armies. This Scorpion army. Black Hand squad moving out. Black Hand going for the kill on the Tib Spike. So Senna going to be losing that Tib Spike. A little bit sad for Senna. Drone ship finally making its way over to the 3rd field location. He went for 1 gravity stabilizer. Has not completed his walk to the natural expansion. And as Senna is getting that potential 3rd base online, VortexMaddness is going to be running out of Tiberium at his natural. 2 Storm Riders. Stealth tank is here. Laser capacitor Scorpion tanks, as soon as they get in range of anything of the Skrins on the ground, they will melt it. But for the current moment, they're just taking a beating and happy to do it. Laser capacitors, dev tanks, 1, 2 dev tanks are here. Scorps would have to jump on them. Reinforcement train is maybe weak. I feel like you could jump on this with the Scorps. Okay, never mind. Not with this stasis. So yeah, the pullback was the right move. I forgot about the stasis shield. And that is the right move for Vortex. Baits him into the vein detonation, cleans up basically all of those seeker tanks, and the dev tanks are an easy cleanup. So that was a fake retreat, which is why all of those Scorpion tanks were running scared, and the GG comes out. The bait works. It worked on me. I got baited by it, and that is it for the Downtown Dust Bowl 1v1 VortexMaddness. Back and forth with Senna, and then the climb over on the economy front, and that's where VortexMaddness started just taking this game over. And that'll do it for this 1v1. Welcome to Arctic 8. That's the name of the map, and it is featuring 8 players. So I hope you are ready for some potential craziness. I hope you're ready for some potential madness, just pure chaos. Chaos is what we're looking for. Kicking it off, this is the blue Steel Talons. This is VortexMaddness. Playing the blue, playing the Zocom. This is scorpioncnc. Meanwhile, on the south side of the left side, our 1 Skrin player on this team, this is Sparta. And our green Zocom, this is Kane. IamKane, but just Kane. Meanwhile, on the right side, playing the red-ish team, this is Adventurer. Black Hand, playing that light pink. Playing the very vibrant pink, this is Nair718, playing Vanilla Nod. And in the north, playing the orangey, this is Avatars. But there's a underscore in the middle, so that's a Reaper or Traveler 59 player. And rounding it out as the red marked of Kane, this is Tremigo, or 3 Tremigo. I always want to think of as Streamigo, but, you know, I don't make up the names. Oh, there we go. I hit the wrong hotkey, but the names are all up now. We got ourselves red versus blue. And yeah, it is Arctic 8, which if you have not seen this map, because of this gigantic field, it can turn into just absolute mass numbers of units. It can be a very war of attrition-y type map, and it can be one of those maps that snowballs super duper hard in one direction. Or if both teams get a pretty good setup, then it can very much go into the late game, and all of the Tiberium is gone. A couple of Reckoner, or a couple of Black Hand squads inside of this Reckoner. Does get spotted nice and early, gets beaconed quite heavily, so it should get locked down. One black-handed squad actually ejects. That was a bit of a mistake. Could have gone for the refinery. Might have actually gotten a kill on the refinery. It may still get a kill on the refinery. Buzzer squads are... Buzzer Hive is here, so as soon as the eject happens, the black-hand squads should be getting eliminated. I love the distraction bikes. It is actually pulling all of the buzzers super far away from that Reckoner. So this is actually working out very well. No eject. No, the eject does happen. But that is just mass death for those Black Hand members. Bikes starting to cross the map, and into the middle of the map go these players. Early expand to the big field is pretty much always a good idea. Pink does it on the right side. One of the blue players does it on the left side. And having maybe even two players deploy MCVs just to give you better build radius coverage isn't a bad idea either. Mass beacon comes in. Somebody, I don't know why they beaconed that field. But we do have one scrin on each side. So we do have the potential of wormholes to be utilized here. However, one side, CCSparta, has that stasis shield. So we will be potentially seeing some kind of tech snipe or cancel with that stasis shield. Maybe it'll be of no event, but we need to keep that stasis shield in the back of our mind in case the stasis shield is able to save someone, or it's able to completely cripple one of the armies from one of the teams. But this is one of those 4v4 maps that is very grouped together, so you can end up in these like full 4 armies all mixed together. You know, sometimes you do get a north and south split where it's basically a 2v2 in the north and a 2v2 in the south, and that's not uncommon. But because of these big center fields, you can also end up in a 4-man fight, or I guess an 8-man fight, but a 4-player fight on both sides over those big center fields, and it can be just insane numbers of units. A couple of Seeker tanks making it past the front line. Avatars says, I want to see what's going on. I'm not sure that he's going to see anything worth writing home about. By the way, Steel Talon, Zocom on the left side. So no vanilla GDI on the left side, but we do have Steel Talons. And then we'll see if the Zocom Hammerheads make an appearance. Always fun to see Zone Raiders inside of Hammerheads. Always fun to do. MCV doesn't get grabbed instead. It's going to be the refinery. Is this for build radius? I think the MCV might have been packed up. Yay! It is for build radius. Woo! Mothership called in. 5-minute 10 Mothership EMP. Boom, baby, boom. Oh my gosh, they got it. They got it. Perfectly done there. That is excellent by the team on the right side. But the counterplay was perfect. That EMP getting grabbed early was consequential. That was a 5-minute 10 Mothership. I mean, sure, Mothership at 25 minutes, Mothership at 30 minutes, whatever, but 5-minute 10 Mothership, super fast, coming out from the team on the right side, courtesy of Avatars pulling off that play. Oh, there we go. Catalyst missile slams into 2 refineries, gets himself a couple of Zocom refs. Never a fun day having your refineries catalyst. But, man, I can't believe that Mothership just did nothing. But, you know, you got to eliminate that EMP control center. It would have actually kind of been funny if they EMP'd their opponent's EMP control center. I think the charge-up shot on the Mothership is long enough that the EMP would have actually expired. And I'm not sure that I've ever EMP'd a control center to see if you can deny your opponent's EMP, but I think that would work. Supercharged Obelisk of Light might come into use at some point. Decoy Army is here, but a couple of real laser capacitor Scorpions are also here, and they are ready and willing to fight. By the way, this is a 8-player map, and it has 5 blue Tiberium fields on it. One of them is, well, 3 of them are centrally located. One of them is dead center in the middle of the map, so it is potentially very, very difficult to actually harvest from. Big vein detonation doesn't catch much. Oh no, he does. He got a bunch of the gunwalkers and seekers right on the edge of that vein detonation, barely inside of it. And one of the scrim players just called in an Eradicator Hexapod. Not 100% sure who it was. A couple of Scorpions getting ganged up on. And is this a stealth? That is a stealthed Eradicator Hexapod in the north. So Team Orange, Team Red working together to stealth an Eradicator Hexapod. A couple of stealth tanks are here. They do end up, one getting clobbered, two getting clobbered by those orcas. And is this no Tibbs core missiles? That's a stealth tank in a 4v4 with no Tib core missiles. That's something that probably is going to be changing very, very soon. Bombs do get dropped. Okay, so the bridge does get denied. By the way, Rift Generator is out for Sparta. Another wormhole is here. Tier 3 gets grabbed. And is this going to be another mothership drop? That would be great. We're at the 7.5 minute mark, or the 8 minute mark. I'm not actually sure what the reset timing is on that. Zorkas show up and they get an absolute slaughter on that tier 3. Stealthed Eradicator going for the kill, but it's going to be a storm column for the stealth reveal and for the damage. Blink away from the shockwave artillery. Excellently done there, as the shockwave artillery will detonate on nothing but friendlies. And there's the EMP getting called in on that Eradicator. Will get the shutdown on it, and it is going to be a return to base for those Firehawks, bombing something out of existence there on the right side of the map. That was a good blink, but honestly, I'm not sure how much Avatars is really going to get with this Eradicator Hexapod. Could just be a dead Eradicator and not much more than that. Beam cannons are finally getting utilized. This Obelisk is going to be able to snipe and the APC. That's it. Okay. No more for that Obelisk. Everything moves forward. By the way, if you are ever doing this, I believe the benefits of charging up an Obelisk top out at 4 beam cannons. So if you have this many beam cannons, you're not like 9-tupling that Obelisk. It is like you split 4 beam cannons to each of those. Ooh, something just got sniped there. You split 4 beam cannons to each of those obelisks. Orcas being utilized, really good air power from really active air force from the left side team, from the blue team. And they are pushing into the middle of the map. I mean, this blue Tiberium is a ton of cash. Every player should be sending like 2 harvesters to that blue Tiberium field. And there's the blink back by Avatars. He gets that Eradicator Hexapod back to safety. I don't know, somewhere on the map is a Prodigy that just saved that Eradicator right there. The Prodigy's on the map, or on the bridge. Prodigy making its way into the middle. Both teams trying to take over the middle. Blue might have a better position overall because they got more stuff there, but the stealth fields of the Nod team can be more difficult to deal with. Rift Generator has about 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go. MCV is here, supported by a lot of Mammoth tanks just now in that moment, getting the rail gun upgrade. Couple of behemoths to back up the Mammoths, and this could be a definite siege position for Team Blue. Team Red is going to try and hold in the south. Firehawks come in. Big bomb on the Conyard. Double run for those Firehawks. MCV goes down. Packing up will not save you. There's the damage. It takes effect. Orbital bombardment on top of that MCV to get the guaranteed kill, but it really isn't necessary. Juggernauts would do a better job. Zorkas show up, massive damage on the beam cannons, and they break up the front line, at least on the northern side of this Redeemer Engineering facility. But the Redeemer Engineering facility still stands strong. The Redeemer makes his way out. The Orcas do escape for now. And it's going to be an Eradicator on the front line trying to do battle, but those charged up obelisks are massive DPS. Those bursts are insane against the storm column and against everything else. They get the delete. Meanwhile, it's a bunch of beacons on the north side. Magnetic mines going to be tagging this army. A couple of rigs packed along could be phenomenal for our Steel Talons player. VortexMaddness is really going to need those repairs to keep his Steel Talons units fresh and hot. Big beacons on top of those units. 3 minute 30 for the Rift Generator from Sparta. That's actually quite a forward Rift Generator. What are you going to grab? Gets the MCV. Can he do anything with it? There's the blink back by the Prodigy into the safety zone, and it's going to be an engineer to recap that MCV, and there we go. Team Green, or IamKane, now has a Scrin MCV as well. He is playing Zocom, but he's also playing Scrin, so he is going to be extremely powerful potentially. Big Hammerhead firepower is here. They've got that ceramic armor upgrade, and they are feeling good to snipe the power plants of their opponent, and perhaps not much more than that. Shockwave Artillery does land, locking down Adventurer's Redeemer, hoping to go for the kill there as the Behemoths turn very slowly to the south. They have got a lock on that position. Where's the EMP? It's on top of that Eradicator Hexapod, and the Eradicator Hexapod is right next to a massively charged obelisk as that Redeemer goes down extremely quickly. Adventurer not going to be long for this world. Stealth Field does get cleaned up there. Zorkas do land their shots as the Phase also lands on that Eradicator, but it is not meant to be. The beam cannon's finally getting used actively, and they delete that Eradicator so quickly right there on the front line. Massive Steel Talons army ready to fight, and there's literally nothing in front of it. All of the cash is gone for the team on the right side. What are they going to do about this huge Steel Talons army that is facing them down? We have missed so many Firehawk bombing runs in this game. Again, team left side has been extremely active with their aircraft pretty much throughout the entirety of this game. Mammoth Tank's going to be backing on off. Is he worried about the rage gen, or does he want to cut off this nod base in the middle? Either one could be a good choice. Redeemer stepping forward, and this Marv getting trying to hold his ground. It's actually got plenty of health. The Rift Generator, though, doesn't have plenty of health. It does get denied. Stealth Field gets called in, but the Scan gets called in at the same time. Corruptors and the Marv going to be targeting down that Redeemer. Now the rear armor is going to be weakening that Redeemer and will allow it to go down. Mammoth Tanks and Behemoths are going to be going toe-to-toe. You really need something to lock that Redeemer down so he doesn't get the crush, but the stop for the Rage Gen is just as good. The Rage Gen ends that Redeemer's life, and the Behemoths slowly turning their guns towards this field, this area in the south. Eradicator Hexapod will not be denied. Those Devastator warships taking some fire, but they will not go down before the Warp Chasm. However, it is too late. Behemoth's taking massive splash damage from those Spectres. That's a fresh 2 more Behemoths that have gone down. A total of 4 have been eliminated. Those Spectres need to quickly clean up this entire Steel Talons army. A couple of Titans on the front line. The front line is being weakened. Mammoth Tanks and Titans don't last forever, but they have pushed back those Spectres. They haven't pushed back the beam cannons, though, which are slowly going to bleed out the health of those Mammoths. If this was a 1-2 punch with that Marv moving in, this could be a quick crush of this base. Beam cannons might get a couple of these units on exit, might be able to burn down that Mammoth Tank, delete it from the game. But the front line has collapsed. It's just a bunch of depowered obelisks, and the Orcas are going to try and get out of dodge. Those Orcas are going to have a bad time for sure. Couple of more shots. This Titan has 0 HP. Mine drop on top of this army as well. I don't know, Riggs might have actually been the better option, but it's a mothership getting called in, looking for the kill on everything. Can he get the chain reaction? It misses. Okay, it misses. Supersonic airstrike comes in. Avatar's not able to get it. Firehawks. Oh, he's gonna get a second. He's gonna get a second shot. No, it gets canceled. I'm not actually. Oh no, it didn't get canceled. There's the chain. It doesn't catch. Almost. It doesn't catch. Try number 3, but no luck. And yeah, this flank has collapsed. So the Marv and the Eradicator did eventually move in. Behemoth's absolutely crushing the front line of Team Red. Oh no, the zone heads! The Zocom hammerheads Actually, don't think there's many Zone Raiders inside of him. Oh well. It's always nice to see him. Man, that supercharged particle beam is so good. Those Venoms absolutely shredding. Behemoths on the meanwhile, just punching through the front line. No super weapons. No super weapons necessary. Behemoths are going to work their way through everything that remains. Avatars has left Team Red. Hands everything over to Xtremizer. So that's one out. Yeah, unfortunately, everything was too far apart for the mothership. The man, that 5-minute mothership, just getting zapped by the EMP. No fun. Team right side lost their EMP. One of the Firehawk bombing runs, no doubt. And MCV, bye-bye. Firehawk gets the kill. Nicely done there. Team Blue playing this one out really well. Pretty much had the momentum most of the game. They got the early plant on the front line, and just that, it took a while. It was a little bit slow in terms of build-up, but man, once this Behemoth, Mammoth, Titan, Steel Talons army reached the front line, it was over. And we saw how powerful those aircraft were, just crushing so many buildings, so many tech options. We saw some attempted fancy plays there by our Team Red, but they just didn't work out. The last-ditch efforts, the last hopes just would not last. Shockwave artillery will find. Misses the Redeemer, but it gets the Eradicator. Stealth comes in on the Redeemer. Rage Gen will fire off, but it's not going to be enough to turn the tide. It'll just delay things a little bit. The Eradicator does go down. A couple of Mammoth tanks are going to explode thanks to that Rage Gen, but this Redeemer is not going to survive even if he gets the kill on those Behemoths. He won't be able to get everything. Oh, although the Commando could potentially help out here. Unfortunately, the Commando gets targeted. Another Redeemer doesn't have any real friends left. Hammerhead's targeting him down. Adventure has been defeated. That's 2 out of the 4 on the right side. Nair and Xtremizer are the only ones left. And it just gets harder from here. 6K in the bank, 2K in the bank. Meanwhile, CCSparta, 24K in the bank. That is a scrin player with a massive bank to do whatever. scorpioncnc, a Zocom player with 10K in the bank. The macro's slipping, but it doesn't matter. Xtremizer and Nair 718 have been defeated. That will do it. Bye-bye to that 4v4. Pretty tight 18-minute 4v4 there. Nicely done by the blue team. They got that snowball rolling, and there was no stopping them. But welcome back to Frozen Dunes. Let's hope it works this time. We've got ourselves a 4v4 on our hands on this map that I believe is just a reskin of Tiberian Dunes. So I'm kind of realizing that in this moment. Kicking it off, 14 Blue playing the GDI. This is Tars. Meanwhile, just south of him playing the scrin, it's Skeevnash, which I didn't realize this when I was first looking at the names. I assume that's a reference to Steve Nash, but Skeevnash. And playing as the Blue Nod, this is 4v4 gay club member, which is maybe the longest name that you can have in Kane's Wrath. He's got the maximum number of characters there. And playing the green, rounding out Team Blue-Green, this is edface. Meanwhile, on the right side, playing the Team Red, we have the orange Blackhand. This is YourHorse. Then we have... I don't know how to... This is the purple scrin. He's pink. He's not purple. Playing the very pale... This is Xtremizer. Playing Zocom. And rounding out Team Red, it's Xtremizer playing the Marked of Kane. Alright, you guys tell me. What is that name? Look at Pink's name. What do you want me to say? Zenek? Actually, we can rename him. What should we rename Pink? We can give him a new name that is pronounceable, and we'll at least have something. Zeneki, Zonk, Zank, Zoinks. Oh, actually, we can't rename him. Okay, there we go. I realized I closed that tab. We got a couple of bikes and buggies moving around the map. There's doing some scouting stuff. People are looking around, but this is Frozen Dunes. This game might go for a while. Who knows? Ah! Alright, there we go. Zoinkies? If anyone wants to change his name. Okay, yeah, Zoinks. I could go with that. Just Zoinks. Yeah, like the group who solves crimes. The teenagers who do the crime solving. Or the costume solving. So anyways, we got ourselves a 4v4. It is on the map, Frozen Dunes, which is relatively small Tiberium's field to start with, and then you got this big green Tiberium field that he shared, one in the north, one in the south. A couple of pit bulls going to be moving in from edface. He's looking for a couple of harvester kills. Will he actually get them, or will he just find some failure? Well, he's going to get a scorpion tank. YourHorse will be losing that scorp, but possibly not much more than that, unless a bunch more pit bulls show up. You do have a couple of blue Tiberium fields spread out as well, 3 per side, it looks like. And we got ourselves an EMP control center, which was reasonably consequential in the last 4v4 that we saw. 2 EMP control centers at least per side that I've spotted so far. And, okay, we don't have as nice of a split on the factions. We've seen a couple of 4v4s recently where it's like all GDI factions and 1 scrin versus all Nod and 1 scrin. But this one is a little bit more of a mix-up. You got GDI, Nod, and scrin on both sides. Double vanilla scrin, so we do have the possibility of a double stasis shield, which could do some big things. We'll see. Tremigo with 8K in the bank. He is the biggest hoarder so far in this game. And everyone's income is looking pretty solid. +8, +9, +10K per minute. So lots of cash here for people to fight over. A couple of harvesters heading for the blue Tiberium in the middle of the map. It is going to be the hope of all people. Ooh, an engineer! That's a regular old engineer. That is not a wormhole across the map to go for that big EMP. Locks down the harvester and locks down, well, it doesn't actually matter because the phase comes in. There's a return fire EMP. Will lock down a couple of tanks. I don't think they actually have the firepower to do anything about that. I mean, the tanks are taken out of the equation, but it's EMP tanks versus phased tanks. So it's not really anything to worry about one way or the other. And somehow blue has stolen, oh my gosh, they got a refinery, laser fielded it, placed down a hand of Nod, and now Commando inside of the Reckoner. I love the disruption tower included in this as well. Firehawks coming in with the bombing run to clean up the EMP control center, and I love this Commando play so much. I think this was 4v4 Gay Club member who has pulled this off. An engineer and a commando inside of that Reckoner. Absolutely monstrous. And I love that it was like a double engineer play. One up here to go for just that regular old MCV move, or MCV grab, and then another one down here. Commando, the play is real. It is alive. The MCV gets nuked there. And there's the gank on the refinery as well. The phase comes in. A couple of pit bulls rocking up to this field, and they will get that kill on perhaps one of these. And he steals the harvester again. The plays keep coming, even a power plant deployed, and this is just the perfect disruption to the team on the red side. They are completely being thrown for a loop. Firehawks going to be getting targeted down here by the Hammerheads, but guess what? Firehawks have a anti-air payload, and they wipe all of the Hammerheads completely off of the field. It's going to be a fresh engineer inside of this Reckoner, a double engineer Reckoner. And this guy may be big in the club, but he is also huge in this game. Finally, the Reckoner does get shut down, and yeah, no good. Engineers die inside of it. Oh well. He's big in the club, but he is getting shut down now in this game. The lights are on. They're playing that goodbye song, and this is the end of Team Blue's infiltration of Team Red. It was fun while it lasted, but now you're getting blasted, and it is back to the regular old, never mind, it's Wormhole. It's Wormhole across the map. The plays keep coming from Team Blue. They are bringing the entertainment factor. They may end up losing the game for all of these silly plays like they are going for, but it is entertaining. It may kill them, it may cost them the game, but at least they're providing the entertainment value that we desire, that we want here from these 4v4s. We want chaos, we want creativity, and we want people wormholing their way across the map. EMP fires up, but it just takes down the shields. A couple of tripods going to be going up against a couple of avatars moving in here. Stealth fields are here for Team Red, so they do have that opportunity to hide their units until the very last second, which means you're just blasting a refinery until an avatar shows up too close for you to really avoid. A couple of gunwalkers, a couple of secret tanks still here. One tripod did get eliminated, and the phase has kept a couple of units alive, but they probably won't do very much after the phase wears off. Juggernaut's getting constructed. It's going to be Juggernauts and Marvs, a combo that has won many, many, many games in the years gone by, but will it be enough to win a 4v4 here on Frozen Dunes? Avatar going for the crush. Sonic Emitter and Shredder turrets both getting called in to deal with this attack. Phase has worn off, and as these Venoms move in, they're going to try and cut off the attack path of those units. Not a lot of value left in a couple of Gunwalkers and a couple of Secret Tanks. Icor Seed with Overlord's Wrath both getting called in. That is as good of a field reproduction as you can do. That is like 18. Was that a second? Ooh, nice Firehawk bombing run. That Firehawk, those Firehawks clearing out that refinery is actually pretty big, because this is 18 patches of Tiberium, which is a lot of cash this late in the game as everyone's income kind of dwindles down to about the 4K per minute mark. And as a result, oh my gosh, is there more engineers? What are the beacons? Oh, the beacons are for the just a couple of pit bulls moving in. It's not more engineer plays as much as we all wish that it was. But yeah, those Firehawks cleaning up that economy is actually pretty nice for Team Red. It really shuts down the rebuild possibility. Mine drop coming in. It's going to be a magnetic mine drop on top of this army, and a couple of Venoms moving back. Rage Gen does fire off, may allow a couple of these tripods to get eliminated by Team Red. If they could reclaim those husks, it would make their defense that much stronger. Firehawks coming in, clearing out a huge chunk of aircraft, and it's going to be the Shockwave Artillery on the return fire. Will it get the RNG that it needs to lock down that Redeemer? Dodging shots. Tremigo's Redeemer manages to avoid basically every shell from the Shockwave Artillery. And you may not think that it's possible, but it is possible. Zoinks has a bit of a parking lot problem outside of one of his refineries. Unfortunately for him, he's got a lot of cash that he just can't redeem at the current moment. First nuclear missile on the field. And it is a Temple of Nod with Master Computer countermeasures, so that is not a decoy Temple of Nod. Two pit bulls have managed to sneak super deep into enemy territory. They're going to get slowly eliminated by those Black Hand members. Pit bulls making their way along the southern edge of the map. Edface is a big believer in the mass pit bulls. He's got the mortar upgrade for them. He He has a lot of war factories, I guess. He's also got railguns with mammoth tanks, sniper teams, and juggernauts, one of which is single vet, so he's feeling pretty good about that kind of an army this late in the game. Orca Strike coming in, going across the map. Once again, this Pitbull trying to find a very hidden place to exist so that he can just hide away. Where was that catalyst missile? It fired off somewhere. It was down here in the south, took out a couple of refineries. They get quite tightly packed around this field. And that's where that stealth field can be extremely important as well, just to hide the potential of those refinery snipes by the catalyst missile. Pitbull did get the EMP control center, so I believe that is both EMP control centers cleaned up now. Stealth tanks making their way through. Team Blue bringing the sneaky plays once again, but it's going to be mass Firehawk on top of these Juggernauts. It is not an efficient way to kill Juggernauts. It just isn't. 2 Vertigo Bombers would have done more damage than all 8 of those Firehawks, but you do what you can. The RNG is good this time. It finds the Marv. It's going to be drone zone trooper support. Drop pod comes in and nails that Marv. No, the Marv survives. 1 HP. The Juggernaut shot lands at the last possible moment. Pitbull is going to find a couple of targets here in the back line. The damage is there on the front line, but can they keep the front line moving forward? Because right now it's a bit of a stalemate. They do have one timer that matters. Sub 5 minutes until the nuke, and a nuke can absolutely break up the front line. Scrin frontline, or Scrin air, can absolutely delay a game. Maybe not forever, but for a significant amount of time. Shut down the war factor, potentially shut down the MCV as well. I think those stealth field actually is hiding the MCV. Yeah, this disruption tower is hiding that MCV position so that the Devastator warships don't actually know that it's there. Otherwise, they probably could be shelling that MCV and potentially pushing this GDI push back a little bit. More sniper teams getting called in. Man spam is going to be the delay tactic. And Orca Strike does come in. I think that was a Stratofighter as well from the Firehawks. Moving in to try and knock down that Temple of Nod. 4 minutes on the clock for the Temple of Nod. So blue team does have that significant timer. But no, Firehawks come in. It is a fresh bombing run from Xtremizer, and they get the kill. No nuke for you. Yeah, there is a lot of blue Tiberium on this map. There's 6 blue Tiberium fields, at least. I guess 7, because the one in the middle of the map. That is just a huge amount of blue Tiberium, and there's a decent amount that is unclaimed on both sides of the map. Yeah, those growth accelerators, because there is scrin on both sides. Massive beacons getting called in. This war factory is requesting, or someone on the red team is requesting the destruction of that war factory. They're like, hey, you got to shut that down. Tars and Edface joining forces. Big Firehawk bombing run. It's going to be orbital bombardment on top of a huge number of tripods. There's the phase. It's a little bit too late. One of the tripods already falls, and the front line crumbles. Other than the tripods, they may be safe, but they are not very safe for long. Where's the RNG? Is it going to be good? I don't actually know where that shockwave artillery fired off at. Oh, it was up here, just north of the screen. The Redeemer getting targeted down. It's going to be zone troopers, railguns on those Preds, and an ABC with a sonic emitter to go for the kill. The return fire of the rocket squads won't be enough to save that Redeemer. The Rage Jet might be enough if the guns turn away from it, but there it goes down. The Redeemer has fallen, and something else did get sniped. I think that was a GDI commando that just got eliminated after killing off a Tib Spike or something of similar nature. A couple of zone troopers now in the back line. Edface, for like the second or third time, he's called in these zone troopers to try and sneak something around the side of the map. It hasn't totally worked, but it is a good play because zone troopers can do massive damage. Another war factory is here on the front line. Devastator warships have not been able to clean it up, but the Firehawks will get the kill. What are they going for? Do they split their targets? Yes, they do. They split their damage. They get the power plant. They get the airfield. They miss the Conyard. They really need to realize there's a Conyard here. There's a Space Command uplink, which isn't the biggest target, depending on where the timers are at for that Space Command uplink, but shutting it down would certainly eliminate one of the potential factors for Team Blue. edface has been holding down this southern quadrant for a long time. Shockwave artillery fires off. Xtremizer is throwing out the beacons. He's like, we got to worry about this field that no one's harvesting in the north. There's a ton of cash up there, and that is 5 tripods getting locked down by that shockwave artillery. We've seen a couple of shockwave artilleries tonight get massive misses, but this one was a big hit. 5 tripods. There's like 10 tripods for all of Zoinks' army, and yet 5 of them got locked down. Massive amount of cash has been regrown in various areas of the map. There was actually a decent amount of Tiberium on both sides that could still be harvested. So as some of these players are drawing a 0 on their bank account, edface has 17K backed up and ready to go. Another shockwave artillery is here. Locks some down on both sides. Purple tripods, and also a commando comes through. The vapor bomb on top of those tripods, and another tripod goes down. The commando hoping that he can live to fight another day, but he can't because the snipe comes through. Xtremizer, he believes in the power of Zocom Air, and that's the only thing he believes in, because Firehawks and Hammerheads are what are his tools for victory. Husks getting sniped. Venom's coming in a little bit too late to the party to do anything too significantly. Another commando sniped here in the south, and an engineer is going to attempt to infiltrate, but he will get found out and denied. That carry-all is carrying nothing except that engineer to his grave, and that engineer has fast legs. The Orca Strike is fast, but these engineers are quicker on the pickup, at least for one of those avatars, and that's a dual beam avatar as well. That thing is worth its weight in gold, as a couple of juggernauts will be recovered. Team Red going for the reclamation process. It doesn't always land as the Husks get sniped once again. Big, massive beacons in the north. Maybe a couple of harvesters were frozen or something. Nuke is back out on the field. Is this a real nuke? It is a real nuke back out on the field. Sub 4 minutes. So he's been around for a minute. Hammerhead's moving back through. Xtremizer being extremely annoying with his aircraft. He's been executing so many Firehawk bombing runs, so many Hammerhead snipes as he comes through and just eliminates low health units and targets from Team Blue. They've tried several times to sneak things through, and Xtremizer has been the one to stop them, either as Firehawks or as Hammerheads. So he is playing the team game. He is not playing for the solo victory. He is not going for the glory points. He is instead entirely playing to like help his team out, and he is playing support basically to the max. edface trying to inch his MCV further and further forward. We got another commando out on the field. You love to see the commando plays. You love to see the engineer plays, especially in something as chaotic as a 4v4. There is so much space on this map. There are so many buildings to target. There is so much to go after. And that Redeemer is going to be able to... Oh, actually, the phase just ran out, so if a couple of shots land at the right time, that Redeemer might go down. The Zone Trooper's trying to close in, and that is a stasis to save this Redeemer, who then rage gens to save himself, and it looks like he will manage to get on out of there, at least for now, as the beacons get called in, and a commando is going for the kill. This lady has triple vet to her name, and now the buzzer swarms. Everything is getting thrown at that Blackhand commando, and it was only barely enough to shut her down. Engineer is right next to this Temple of Nod, and oh, just in time, the Zorka Strike lands. The laser fence gets rebuilt around that Temple of Nod, and once again, the Devastator warships have reformed their front line. The supersonic airstrike clears out those fields, those force fields, but not much more than that. Shockwave artillery on top of this army. Double shockwave artillery, perhaps from edface and TARS from team left side, but it's actually from one on each side as edface's and Marv gets locked down. Pitbulls moving into position. Harvesters getting eliminated in the middle of all the action, perhaps. And there is, once again, a nuclear missile snipe somewhere on the left side of the map. We were like down below 2 minutes on that nuke timer, and it finally got cleaned out. Juggernauts They made some progress some time ago. Rift Generator now out on the field, courtesy of Zoinks. Firehawks going in for the kill on the Devastator warships, but they don't find enough damage to actually clean them up. Juggernauts have been pushed back. Redeemers firing off their Rage Gen. Stealth Redeemers fighting against each other, just ghosts punching the air. Xtremizer calls in the Zone Raiders, but they get outgunned by just Harvesters. When was the last time you saw Harvesters win a fight versus Zone Raiders? You've seen it happen today. Decoy Army gets called in, but one of them is a Spectre that also gets eliminated, so no good for that Decoy Army. Rift Generator is here. Redeemer in the north, Redeemer in the south. Lots of Redeemers out here on this field. There's only 3 Nod players, but it feels like there's 14 Redeemers out here. MCV gets shut down. This might be how Team Red ends up winning this. There's been many an MCV get sniped by Firehawks. And now if they can combo this with like 3 or 4 MCVs going down all at once, that could stall out Team Blue, stall out their ability to hold on to their front line and stop Team Red's advance. Xtremizer looking for the snipe. Nuke gets added on by YourHorse, but this is a fake Temple of Nod. This is a decoy right at the front line. Bye-bye to that Temple of Nod. That's not a real one. Orbital bombardment on top of the aircraft. We'll take out the shields, do some damage to those tripods as well. One last shot lands and snipes that tripod. It may not be a good idea in real life, but it works well in the game. Commando heading to the front line, looking for that hero run to kill a bunch of stuff and get the glory for it. Redeemer distracting Team Blue. The refinery goes down. Okay, that's something. We'll see if anything beyond that refinery goes down. It's been a while since a commando got some really good value, and that commando just ain't it. One refinery. Nice to kind of push that back. Edface finally loses that MCV on the front line. Commando, can he go golden? Can this boy be a hero? For now, the answer is no. Gets himself 2 tripods. A nice start to the day. Cup of coffee, couple of tripod kills. A nice way to progress through the game. And Team Blue in the north seems like they have been gutted. They've got this front line and then a whole lot of nothing in the middle. And if this front line gets collapsed on by enough of Team Red, they may find themselves with only a couple players left in the south. Right, you can be winning in the north and losing in the south, which is sort of what we were seeing for a little while, but it feels like Team Red, they've really rallied in the last couple of minutes. I think they grabbed all of the blue Tiberium that was on their side. They grabbed a bunch of that green Tiberium that had regrown as well. And they just massed out a bunch of tripods and other stuff. Team Blue, they've held the line. Yeah, those MCV snipes are extremely helpful to really cut down on the reinforcements and to stop Team Blue from keeping the front line so close to Team Red. It bought a lot of space for Team Red, but they haven't been able to capitalize on it. Blue stopped the push from Team Red. And we're once again feeling like we're back into stalemate territory. Juggernauts here. Man, that Juggernaut MCV combo is just so hard to stop if you don't have the right tools. Orca Strike comes in. Beacons all over the map. Commando? Yep, Commando going for the tip spikes. That's actually a good use of the Commando. Would have been nice if it was a little bit earlier in the game. But sniping those tip spikes and denying that passive income from your opponents is definitely a good move. At this point, you know, everyone sort of has their late game economy cycles. Scrin can call in Overlord's Wrath. That spawns a field. Ichor Seed, Seed Tiberium. Both teams can do at least some of these things to keep their economies rolling and to, you know, share the wealth. Double Beam Avatar in the north. He's double that. Hasn't gone triple. Hasn't gone fully heroic status. Firehawks come in. They clear out another nuke. It's 2 super weapons to 0. Once again, Team Red going deep into enemy territory, but only with Firehawks. Everything else is about the frontline control that Team Blue has had for the majority of the game, at least in the south. edface is the anchor. He keeps things there and not moving too far back. Commando is double vet, and we can all hope that he will sometimes get past this infinite nest of shredder turrets that have been upgraded, and that he will find the value that we want to see. Venoms move in. Firehawks clean them out. The Marv has rushed to the front line. The Mammoth Tank's behind it, but the Juggernauts are where the real power is. The Spectres and the Juggernauts, those shells from a distance. And it looks like Team Blue might actually be breaking through in the south. Team Red holding them off in the north. And the Marv is trying to just anchor this army, buy enough time for the Juggernauts and the Spectres to break down that front line. Shockwave artillery once again lands, and this Redeemer steps south just a little so that he can avoid all of the damage. Double engineer inside of that Redeemer, and the scan comes in as well. Second Rage Gen fires off, this time from YourHorse. He is hoping to shut down this artillery with the help of Xtremizer, targeting down those Juggernauts, but there's a slingshot, there's an AA battery, and it is not going to be enough to stop that. Meanwhile, it's Commando Engineer combo. It has been spotted, and the stealth does make this sort of thing a little bit harder to pull off. Marv is going to be backing up. This is a single engineer Marv. That is not even a quad engineer Marv, just maximum sponge status to try and absorb as much damage as possible. There is a lot of static D here, so not a great spot for an engineer or a commando to pop out. And there's the deploy, so you better hope you can run for it as quickly as you can. Once you get out, you're not going to have a lot of time. Commando will draw the fire. Engineer is not moving, though. Commando has to blow up the SAM turret. Okay, and now the engineer is just stuck. I thought the commando was going to draw the fire, and then the engineer was going to make a run for a building. Like, if he could have gotten that war factory, that would have been nice. Meanwhile, Rift Generator finally has fired off. Team Red managed to land a super weapon. Redeemer goes down, and the Juggernaut line gets eliminated. That is what we were expecting to see. Those massive backline damage from the super weapon. It can be extremely powerful. What even happened here? YourHorse? How did YourHorse end up? Was that the engineer? That was the engineer. I had no faith in that engineer, and somehow he returned and dual beam, triple vet heroic avatars. Although was one of those a decoy? I'm not 100% sure, but these boys are heroes. Skeevnash has been defeated. Our first member of Team Blue has dropped. Double Team Blue has been defeated as Tars leaves the game. And it's going to be the double watchtower on top of this, as our 4v4 Gay Club member has also left the game, leaving everything in the hands of edface, who now has an 8K bank. All of his team members left, and he's still only got 8 grand to show for it. Team Blue collapses down into a single player, and well, it was a good fight. In the end, it is Team Red that will seem to prevail. Oh, is he going maximum petty mode? He really just wants to kill off these avatars. It's going to be a miss by a mile. Oh, Seed Tiberium. Okay, I'm not sure what the plan was there. Maybe he's just goofing around. Maybe that wasn't actually a play. I thought he was going for the Orca Strike because there was a scan and an Orca Strike, I assumed. But no, edface calls in he calls in Seed Tiberium. And I mean, at this point, if edface wins, then that is just huge respect. A 1v4, even if you had like a massive economy, would be extremely difficult. But there's the fire sale. Very politely selling everything off, and that will do it for this game, this 4v4. Yeah, those avatars ain't dying if they're together like that. Yeah, I do think the Firehawks did make a big difference. There was a number of times where Team Blue got slowed way down by those Firehawks sniping war factories and MCVs, and then of course no nukes fired off for Team Blue. who was the top? Edface, I guess, had a huge spike right at the end there. But even before that, Edface was actually one of the top performers. Oh, it was Tars. Tars on the blue side was also a top earner. So those were, and then Zoink. So actually, Team Blue had the 2 top earners, and then Team Red had the number 3 spot. So that really wasn't a case of the more money wins. Tars and Edface were both outstripping most of Team Red for the majority of the game. And yeah, definitely at the end, Edface had a big spike there. But yeah, that'll do it for that 4v4. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And this is Sybert signing out.